So the Shaykh, one of the things you will note in the speech of the Shaykh, حفظه, is that he will give very practical, concise, effective solutions to the problems which are presented. So the Shaykh begins, أولا يحتاج السلفيون إلى أن يشمروا عن ساعد الجد في تحصيل العلم والازدياد منه وخاصة علوم السلف العقائدية والمنهجية إلى جانب حفظ نصوص الكتاب والسنة. First thing he says is the Salafis, we as Salafis, people of the Sunnah, who hold on to the rope of Allah Azza wa Jal, we want solutions to these problems. We the Shabab. This is who the advice is directed toward, the Shabab. How do we now save ourselves? How do we save other people, our societies from this evil situation? The Shaykh says, first of all, the Salafis are in dire need of being eager, rolling up their sleeves and being eager in acquiring knowledge, in acquiring ilm, and seeking an increase in ilm, and especially the sciences of the Salaf. The sciences of the Salaf in Aqidah, in creed, in methodology. And at the same time, they memorize the texts of the book and the Sunnah. So here is the first part of the solution. It is upon us, ya ikhwan, that we memorize the Quran and we memorize the Sunnah, and we return back to the books of the Salaf, where we derive these issues of Aqidah and Manhaj, and we understand these nusus, the texts, in the way that they understood them. We apply them in the way that they applied them. This is the solution. This is the first thing that all of the Shabab have to return back to. And he says that therefore, when you speak about these people, because speaking about them is inevitable, we have to speak about them. We have to explain the truth to the people, following our ulama. He says, when you speak about these people, you have to speak about them upon ilm, and you have to have strong knowledge. So he says, وَتَتَكَلَّمْ فِي أَمْثَالِ هَؤُلَاءِ الَّذِينَ فَرَضُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ عَلَى الْأُمَّةِ بِثَرْثَرَتِهِمْ وَتَزْيِينِهِمْ وَزَخْرَفَتِهِمْ لِلْكَلَامِ. You have to speak about them, these people who've beautified and adorned and embellished everything to the ummah, and they've beautified innovations and falsehood, and people have become deceived by them. And if you speak about them with weak ilm, and this is crucial now, if you start speaking in affairs where your ilm is weak, you will do more harm than good, because this will not satisfy the common people. Remember, the common people, their minds have been affected with adornment, beautification of falsehood, false principles, intellectual terrorism, everything, you name it. This is how the minds of the people, even intelligent thinking people, have been affected in this way. If you now come along with knowledge which is not deeply rooted knowledge from the kitab, from the sunnah, memorization of texts, knowledge of the interpretation, knowledge of the athar of the salaf, what they said, knowledge of what the ulama have said, you come with weak knowledge, weak ilm, and you are not going to satisfy these people, then it only supports and aids the cause of those people. And this is a problem that has repeated itself in history many times. It is evil, leads to great evil. So the first point that the Shaykh is making is that we cannot be people with weak knowledge. We cannot be people who learn something, memorize something, and then think we are, at the age of 20, 21, that we are now imams of the sunnah, that we can now deal with the problems in this country. No. This takes ilm. It takes years and decades of ilm and putting your head down and returning back to the people of ilm and knowing your position. So this is the first thing that the Shaykh begins with. He says that the people are deceived by them. They don't know that these people are the heads of ignorance and misguidance. And they don't know what knowledge is. Knowledge is Allah said, the Messenger said, and what the Sahaba said. Al-ilmu qala Allah, qala Rasuluh, qala Sahabatu, laysa bit-tamwih. Knowledge is what Allah said, what the Messenger said, what the Sahaba said. It's not by bringing confusion and deception and so on and so forth. So he says, so therefore now, if there begin to appear people of knowledge from the Salafis, people who understand these affairs, they become prominent and they start refuting and criticizing these people of misguidance, then in the affairs of Aqidah and Manhaj, then their fitna will decrease. And perhaps it might even end and finish altogether. Because refuting the people of Batil, the Shaykh says, to begin with, it is hard to begin with. You know how hard it is to convince these people, at-Tablighi, at-Tahriri, at-Takfiri, at-Sururi, at-Turathi, and people in these countries who are affected by them as well. It's very hard to convince these people for many, many different reasons, factors. However, the Shaykh says, despite that, if you strive upon ilm, and there are scholars, there are students of knowledge, and they strive in ending this evil, then Allah Azza wa Jal, He will remove some of that evil. Some of that evil will be removed just by the effort that is taken.